Welcome back. CBS News has exclusively learned that the Iranian drone attack in Kuwait that killed 6 U.S. service members was more severe than previously revealed. Sources tell CBS News that the dozens rather, also suffered serious injuries. CBS News Pentagon reporter Eleanor Watson joins us live with that reporting. And Ellie, what more can you tell us about the injuries those service members suffered?
Yeah, the attack that killed those 6 U.S. service members also injured dozens others, leaving them with brain trauma, shrapnel wounds, and burns. At least one individual, according to our sources, may require the amputation of a limb. Remember, this was the attack really on the second day of the war that targeted a tactical operations center at a port just outside of Kuwait City. Sources tell us that that attack, once it hit, was a grim and chaotic scene because smoke quickly filled the room, making it difficult to rescue those inside. Ultimately, 6 U.S. service members have died from that attack, marking the first combat-related deaths of this conflict. Since then, another soldier has died from injuries sustained in a different attack in Saudi Arabia, bringing the total number of killed in action to 7. Overall, the Pentagon earlier this week said about 140 service members have been injured so far, with the vast majority having sustained minor injuries and already returned to duty. But the Pentagon, when the deaths of the service members were announced, the Pentagon and really the president said they do expect to take additional casualties, and that can mean wounded. It doesn't necessarily mean killed in action. It can also mean wounded in action, but they do expect to take additional casualties as this conflict goes on.
And Ellie, I know that this war, obviously, it continues. So the question I have is, has the Pentagon talked about what could have been done differently to prevent what happened in Kuwait?
The military so far hasn't said much because it's still under investigation. When Secretary Hegseth spoke about what happened at a press briefing last week, he said the air defenses the U.S. has at posts around the Middle East are sufficient in getting most of the stuff down and defending against most of the projectiles, but every once in a while something will get through. Sources who have spoken to CBS News have questioned whether or not that specific post at the port was fortified enough before the attack. Remember, the U.S. is having to defend not only against missiles, but also against drones. And missiles do have a more predictable path that can largely be defended against by U.S. air defenses, but drones pose a bit more of a problem because they can fly lower to the ground and can change direction and potentially evade air defenses. And there's some indications that that may have been the case in this incident because sources told us they did not hear a warning of incoming before the attack.
And Ellie, I'm also curious real quick, just from you, have we heard anything right now from the U.S. military about that strike at the girls' school in Iran? Obviously, we had reporting that it likely came from the United States. Has the Pentagon accepted responsibility for that? Where are we on that?
The Pentagon official line is it's still under investigation. There is now supposed to be additional press conferences from the Pentagon, and now that that reporting is out there, this will remain a question.
Okay. Eleanor Watson, thank you so much for your reporting today. Appreciate it.